Welcome to the Backpack Podcast, where we unpack your stories so others can embrace it. Each week, you can expect captivating stories, tips, and insights to help you grow and develop your business. Now, let's unpack that. Thank you all for joining us to another episode of the Backpack Podcast. Today, I am joined with a good friend of mine, the one and only Horace Taylor, otherwise known as DJ Doc on the Block. Thank you, sir, for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you coming. This is an honor, a privilege. So I'm just going to jump right into it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what I would like for you to do before we really unpack your story is I want you to kind of introduce yourself, to tell us where DJ Doc on the Block came from. And then we want to unpack what propelled you into DJing.
Okay.
All right.
Just another kid that grew up on the block in Brooklyn, New York, to West Indian parents, like many hip hop fans and artists. I was in the era, the birth of hip hop. So we used to listen to the radio and like many other kids, and pretend that we're DJs or singers or rappers, and then grew up battle rapping in class lunchrooms, schools, on the streets, on the subway, writing rhymes. Some ventured out to playing instruments. Some ventured out to actually performing. And I just had a love for DJing. It's what I did, but it was recreational. And so fast forward, I became an adult. I came to the South. I came across you. You were doing several events, and you were passionate about what you did. And I told you I wanted to do sound because I didn't think I qualified as a DJ because I knew actual DJs.
Right.
And I loved sound. I was passionate about it, but I didn't dare think I could DJ. I came out to one of your numerous events, and when I saw a guy walk out with two house speakers, hit a remote, and sit back in the seat.
I remember how you looked.
Yeah.
Disgraceful.
This is a DJ. You said, yes, I've been trying to tell you. This is what they do.
Right.
And I'm like, nah. And I was also reluctant because, being in the South, the first introduction I got was you New Yorkers. You're loud, you're arrogant, you think you're all of that,
That's not true. I'm sorry. I love New York. Sorry, go ahead.
It's a Boston thing. You know how it goes.
Whoa. He threw it in there. Okay.
So and I guess we'll unpack later on, I had an event that, a life-changing, season per se, that kind of propelled me into just using this as therapy, just for myself. And when I saw what was going on, I realized, my income, I took a severe income hit.
Okay. Whoa. Yeah. Wait a minute. All right, so now let's unpack that. You're talking about you took a severe income hit?
Severe, yeah.
All right, let's unpack that.
So picture it, Jacksonville, 2013. Jacksonville, Florida. And so 2013, my dad passes. 8 days later, my brother passes. A couple of weeks later, my wife loses sight in one of her eyes.
Wow.
Then about 3 weeks later than that, my mother-in-law has a severe stroke in our home.
Dude, how in the world did you manage?
Oh, my gosh. Of course, I'm serious when I say God. It may sound cliche and corny, but literally God.
Yeah.
Then the backup is just, having genuine, family such as yourself, you are like my brother for real. Having a small circle, I know a lot of people, and I think one of the first things when we really got cool, we almost got into it because I said, I don't have a lot of friends. And you're like, what do you mean? So I don't.
I'm a nice guy, by the way, guys. Don't let him fool you. Go ahead.
You're a professional bully. In my life, at least.
Okay.
But I think the best way to put it is I'm picturing you picture watching a fight, that movie. What's the movie with Michael B. Jordan?
Creed?
Creed, yeah. Like, the mess is beating out of me. I think one time you came, you found me, and I just bust out laughing. Like, hysterically laughing. And you're like, oh, wow. I'm witnessing a mental breakdown here. Like, I was like, what else could possibly come?
Right.
And so, I want to say I was struggling. We were trying to build a business at the time. Mm-hmm. One of our numerous stories, we had ventures, mm-hmm. and it was going well. Like, we're about to see the fruits of our labor. So I'm about to leave my job and take over the world. You know how we were.
Right.
Because, as you say, why do something just be good at it?
Right.
Why not be great?
Right.
So, so 2015, fast forward, after being misdiagnosed for that whole entire time with anxiety. And I'm like, it's not anxiety. I'm managing a lot. They found out, hey, you have a heart condition and you need surgery.
Okay, pause. Wait a minute. So I'm not telling your story for you, but I remember there was a basketball game.
Oh, yeah.
Is this pre or post?
I forgot about that.
Pre or post? Because that's what I remember.
That was pre.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That was pre. Wow, I forgot about that.
Oh my gosh, how?
Oh man, that's
see, I didn't know about any of the other stuff. I think I knew a little bit, but I knew about this one.
That's our outlet when we went to have quality time with the children.
Yeah.
And
yeah. We was like, here, you guys go over there while we play ball, but we actually played with the kids.
Actually, it was in reverse because the kids told us, "You guys go over there, we can play."
Right.
We so for the record, we intentionally went to spend time with the children.
Yep.
But all our kids were around the same age and got along so well, and they were like, "You're cramping our style." And so we end up reliving our childhood. 'Cause you know how men are. It starts out free, little fellowship, and then
it's deep competition.
Yeah. Now it was the championships.
Right.
Titles on the line, and strangers are coming in, and people are bonding. We we're chest bumping, all kind of stuff.
I loved it.
And I think so. For the record, we won the game.
Yes.
That's most important.
That is.
We won the game. And so I leave. We all split. I go home, and I think about an hour later, you're getting a call from my son saying, "Yeah, Dad's not feeling well." And I'm like,
I'll never forget it.
I'm dying. You idiot.
What's crazy is how you tell this. The way you told me how they responded, I am rolling on the floor laughing, but you're like going to the hospital. I'm like, what is happening?
Oh my God. That's a whole nother story.
Yes.
But it was like, so from that, what happens now is, of course, I get to the hospital, everything like that. And that's when they tell me you have a heart condition. And they say you need a surgery pretty quick. I said, how much time do I have? They said, you have 15 minutes.
What?
So they do an emergency operation. I get open heart.
Open heart surgery.
Now, I kept wondering why they kept saying I had a cabbage, because apparently when they have open heart, they can go like through the shoulder, puncture a hole and go to your shoulder blade and do whatever with microscopic cameras. Cabbage, where they cut you wide open, it's gruesome. It's literally, you literally use a saw. It's saw part 8. Okay,
dude, no way.
Yeah, and so they went in there, did what they had to do. They let me know, Mr. Taylor, your life as you know it is done. Now, it'd be cool because, see, I just, after 18 years of extremely hard work, losing my dad, my brother, almost my mother-in-law. Thank God my wife's eyesight's coming back. I had to close down my business because it was just too much going on. At least I'm debt free.
All right.
Problem is that lasted 24 hours.
Oh God. All of 24 hours you were debt free. Oh my God.
And now I have over 6 figures of debt, medical debt. You ever play like the game of life and you're doing great and you say, I'm going to use the restroom. And you play couples, you live with your wife, or you play, okay, spades. And you're killing
Don't
the game.
bring up spades.
Oh. Oh, am I bringing up a story for you?
Yes.
Okay. You know how it is. You go to the restroom, you come back, you're like, how?
Right.
Right. That was it. And the kids are like, yeah, you're home. You know, I mean, after, because they had a little trauma because they saw the whole thing happen.
Right.
So after they got better, it was like, well, I'm glad you're alive. I'm glad you're home. No, you stay right here. You rest. Typical things like, no, make sure you rest. Don't move. Hey, Dad, since you're home, can you bring my backpack? I forgot it. You know, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, by Brooklyn, Jamaican culture, West Indian culture at that, we're going to have speakers in the house. That's a guaranteed. We're going to have music for days and stuff. So I'm fighting depression, you know.
I can only imagine.
I'm like, yeah. Cause
I can only imagine.
I'm a man. I can't provide for my family. I lose my job, my dad, everything.
You can't work at this point.
I cannot.
Like, I remember you could not go to work. They would not allow you to do anything.
No, it literally took me 20 minutes to get to the restroom from, the living room. And I'm in a tiny apartment. I'm not in a huge home.
That's another story. We won't talk about that right now.
Yeah, at the time. And so so I just started playing music for myself as usual, this processing in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's like, I ain't got nothing going on in my life. So, hey, I'm doing something over here. Hey, can you play over here for me? Okay. I go and do it. But then when, I remember you were like letting me know, hey, if you want to do sound, the best way to get in, do these weddings, you get known, get some money through DJing, whatever. And so I started out, DJing. I probably want to say, I think my first professional paid gig was actually your daughter's 16th.
Oh,
party,
yeah. Her Sweet 16.
Sweet 16. And I was so nervous.
Are you serious?
So
you killed it. You killed it.
I was like, these all kids. And
yeah, it was a young crowd.
American, and then it was like, of course, I play clean, family fun, clean.
Mm-hmm.
But kids go to school with other folks.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, we want that dirty.
Right.
And it's like, okay, can you play the dirty music but clean?
Right.
Like, okay, keep it pumped up, but it's during this time I realized I'm really passionate about this. Like, if I'm gonna do it, and that's when I said, okay, they don't have block parties down here. So in my head, I'm like, okay, what if I play it's a block party? That's what I'm gonna do, So my style is like that, and then it just took off, and I realized someone else needed a DJ. I said, okay, I'll go and do it, and I didn't charge a lot.
Right.
And over time, it wasn't so much that, oh, I'm the bomb now, so you got to pay such stuff. It's, I'm not going to bring you garbage.
Right. I
don't care what it is. If you hire me, you're going to get this. So now it's the DOP experience. Because, it's like what you do. So, oh, great, cool. He's going to videotape us, and all right, great. And when they see the end, it's like, oh, wow. You shoot in a way that someone who could not make the event feels like they were front row.
Whoa. I want to hire me from you. That was awesome. I'm using that.
But it is what it is. So for me, it's like, I need the experience because people come up and say, oh, wow, you really do this. I'm like, what else did you think?
Wow.
And so, artists, my dad, when he was doing production, when he used to produce, he was so adamant about even knowing the name of the kid, because back in those days, like, you'd have kids bring coffee and drinks and things like that. He'd have a story about the kid. That kid right now, is probably like 50 years old. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And, you don't know the impact that had. He also has regrets. People that he said, you're not ready. No one will ever take you on. And then they went on to become like the biggest artists.
Wow. That was their motivation. That's what they need to hear.
And so I say all that to say is that there are so many hands involved in producing a track. And the DJs, we have a responsibility to take that precious item and present it properly. You know, so it's you know, you have you have artists that they have great music. Like I look at like this young MC. Okay,
Bust a Move, right?
see, there you go, Bust a Move. Give me another song.
Bust a Move Part 2.
Exactly.
Bust a Move, the remix.
Exactly.
I don't know any of the songs.
But the thing is, he didn't need anything else. I'm sure he has tons of other music, but he didn't need, because it was presented.
Not that you'll see this one day. Not that I disrespect you. I just, that was in that era. That was
no matter
his
what
song.
he does,
Right.
bust the move. That's
Right.
what's going to happen. There's some artists. I mean, when you really look at music, there's not many artists that can put out a plethora of songs. Hit.
Right. That's an anomaly.
The verses have showed us that. You know, there's just not enough. But when it's presented right, if you put out a good quality product, that can last. And so as a DJ, and sometimes we'll have a song. Let's just say I think the Electric Slide. You have event. I have a lot of mixed events where, or should I say we, because a big part of my brand is Colleen and I, my wife. We're a married brand. Like, so I say we do this. Even though I'm DJing, she's so heavily involved.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh, brother, I know.
The back office, the connection, you know, how does this look? Of course, I have a bit of my narcissism in there, you know, just a tip. But it's all about the experience.
Right.
It's like if you're going to Disney, you're going to get a Disney experience. You know, you go on a Carnival cruise, you're going to get the Carnival cruise experience. You go to Ruth Chris, you go places for the experience.
Right.
So DJ Doc on the Block, if you've never been up to a block party, you have that feeling now. If you've been to one, oh, he brought me back there. During the block party, people are dancing, kids are playing, in-depth conversations are happening. Okay, wisdom's being dropped. There's so much going on in that moment.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you have all ages. So when you have elderly people on the dance floor, they're like, oh, this is my jam, you know, the Electric Slide. They're like 60, 70, 80 years old. Because they're like, I can't do all that fast stuff. I can do this here. Okay. So let's keep playing the Electric Slide. Let's pull out the beat. Let's throw in Nelly's It's Getting Hot in Here. Let's throw that beat in there. So now you have the Electric Slide over Nelly's It's Getting Hot in Here. I don't know if you can catch that cadence in your head.
Yep.
So you have multiple generations dancing on the floor at the same time, but they're dancing to different songs.
Wow. I see where your doctorate of mixology comes into play. That's phenomenal, man. I had no idea that it went that deep for you. I just had no idea. I mean, I remember challenging you, which a good friend does, but to see that you taking it, I mean, obviously it was deeper than just challenging you to do business.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm absolutely floored to hear how this all transpired. Number one, to hear your story. And I think the people that watch and hear this are going to be have a greater appreciation for when you step on the floor. I mean, like just even your logo and how it represents your heartbeat and just, you know, all of that. You know, I think, you know, from having...
Can I touch on that?
No, please do. You express.
So, you know, you get the logo. You know, music is at the core. Music is at the core of my heart. The red, of course, for the blood. You know, you have the heartbeat. The logo has it. You know, with the heartbeat. The black for the vinyl, of course. Because even though I'm playing on tracks, you know, I actually did. For people who want to wonder, I actually did start out on vinyl. You know, I couldn't afford the 1200s, but I did play in the 1100s. The Techniques, you know, I DJ'd in my dad's stores, and that's how I sold music.
Okay.
So, and yes, we had like a white label on the black vinyl, but also is light in the midst of darkness.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and there's a timer on
Wow. I
the
didn't even
record.
catch that.
It keeps going. Just keep going. Play it through, you know. And on the record, you hear some of that scrape. You're going to have scratches and scrapes, little crackle, but the music shoots right through all of that. So,
Wow. I hope
yeah.
everybody caught that. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, I need to write it down. I just
Yeah.
made it up.
But you're good like that. You're good like Horace, this is so dope. I mean, I mean, really, again, to really get the heart of why, and this is the reason why I did this podcast, because, you know, when you go out and you actually do an event, nobody gets this part of you. You know, nobody gets to hear this part of
man.
you. You know what I mean? They don't see and hear and understand the depths. I mean, like, I know you used to be a techie. You used to run cables, you know, before you were doing DJing, you know, and I say this to people all the time. You know, it's wide line. We've heard this before. It's a wide line. It's not a narrow. In other words, you don't get from here to DJing. It didn't happen like that. Mm-hmm. You know, it was a ping pong effect. You know, you did a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then events took place, and all of a sudden, there's some amazing DJ with a heart of gold wanting to give people an experience. Dude, that's unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, no one's greater than that team. You know, you ask how did I get through this thing? Like I said, it's like Creed. I'm in the corner and beaten up, busted up. You know, I'm crying up. I don't want to go. And there's times, you know, you're that guy. And it's big when you have someone that loves you, and they kind of force you. You know, bigger brothers, that's what they do sometimes. Kind of bully you, but it's kind of like, you know, later on, like, you know, I tied you up, left you in the woods, but I was there.
Right.
You just didn't know.
Right.
Know, sorry for your trauma. But it helps. And, you know, even like, you know, Dex, I'm like, hey, you're an electrician. Can't you just come and do it? No, and making me understand. But didn't realize how it all connected. So when I show up and they say, like, you're the only DJ that's ever asked about the breaker box. Because if you say, why just be good at something? If I'm going to be great, then I need to know everything from the tip of my finger that hits that key, through the line, through the computer, through the controller, through the mixer, through the XLR cable, through the power conditioner, you know, through the power cord into the wall, through the wiring all the way back to the breaker box to make sure it's a 20 amp.
Good God Almighty.
Breaker.
Did y'all hear that breakdown?
Like, so I'm not just going to pick a name, Doc, you know, because even though it's the old head on the block, you know, some people say, oh, you don't think you're a doctor? Well, I might as well act like one.
Right. Go ahead,
You know?
speak that, sir.
So, I mean, that's why they're there, you know. And why? Because things happen. Because my deal is, I don't care what happens around me. We need to keep moving. And I'm always looking how to take the experience to the next level. It's, I think one of my favorite ones, my son did a video for me, and I was like, thank God somebody caught it. They, grandma was in a wheelchair. They were having such a fun time that they pulled grandma onto the dance floor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And, you know, people understand now with COVID, but my issue happened prior to COVID. And so I was constantly, every time I got rushed to the hospital, it was like, you're facing death. And in my line of business, you know, I'll tell one story that really had me messed up. There was I was doing an event for a local charity, and they were giving out food to the homeless and things like that. And so I said, hey, let's make it a block party. You know, it's cold outside, and they can have some dignity because, you know, they don't have to feel like I'm lining up to get free food or whatever.
Right.
So they're jamming out, and so I would do it every year. And one year, there's this homeless guy. He came with a suitcase saying, like, I'm going to get me a bunch of stuff today. So he's waiting in line, and he had a cane. And so he's putting his cane way up in the air to show, like, DJ, like, hey, look, I'm dancing, you know. And because I would play even for the crackheads, too, across the street. Say, hey, man, I see you over there. Let's go, you know. And if you know me, I don't like the mic, but I wanted them to know I see you.
Right.
You mean something.
Right.
You matter.
Right.
You know, you are amazing.
Right. Oh, plug.
Yeah,
Nice
the plug. That's what I do.
plug.
You know, maybe I'll make it back
Nice.
on. Okay. So
Part 2.
there you go. And so I get a call that night. Hey, you remember that guy? Da da da. Yeah. Don't you know somebody ran over and killed him? I said, what?
What?
I was devastated. And I thought about it. Of course, you know, life is a vapor. You hear about that a lot. But I said, this guy was homeless. They said his family was so appreciative because somebody, I think I filmed it. I had no idea, but I filmed that part. They said they've never seen him dance in like 50 years.
Oh my gosh.
I said he was the happiest. And then I didn't know the 2 women that were dancing with him were both local politicians. So music allowed the lowest of the low to interact, mingle, and dance with the highest of the high, not knowing that's his last day.
Dude. What a story. Dude, what a story. It's got me kind of choked up here because you think, we're going to wrap here. I believe that in this statement, the journey is the reward. And you think about even everything that you've shared, but that story.
Yeah.
You know, I was sharing with a guy who's in finances, a good friend of mine. He's with the Gerard Group, and he was talking about doing this and doing his business. And I said, man, think about it like this. If you don't do what you do, who's not going to eat?
Oh, wow.
Because they don't know how to figure out their finances, or who's going to be lacking because you didn't do what you're supposed to do. Well, the same thing here. Because you were in place, his last good memory for some was him dancing like he's never danced before.
Yeah.
Man, this is why the Backpack Podcast is in position, and I'm so grateful to have you on. This was amazing.
Man, I appreciate it. I mean, it's, you know, when I'm DJing, it's like I have a headache, and I'm trying to relieve the pressure. So oftentimes, you'll see like and usually wear like a hat. You see my hat. You know, a lot of DJs like, hey, everybody. That's not me. I'm just down there. I might look up. Okay, go back down. So I'm in an introverted world, and what's so great about this is people don't get to see this side.
Right.
So, because not that I'm callous, I'm more concerned about playing today like this is your last day. When you go back and play the video, who's not going to be in that video? You know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And that's just the way I do it. Like, okay, this is going to be your daughter's sweet 16. How many times has your daughter been 16?
Right.
After.
Right.
You can't get that one back.
Can't get that back. Nope.
You know, they're all grown and going different places, and you know, they're doing different things. I remember when they were all encouraging each other on the floor and dance battling, and you know, some of us look confused, like we don't know what this is. I'm playing stuff and I don't know what it is, and it was just we had the videos on there, the videos on the screen, and you can't get that back. You know, the weddings. How many weddings have you done? And you see people, you're like, I'm only here because I'm with this family. I don't even like such and such. But the music connects them.
Yep.
You know, it connects them, brings them back. There are, you know, sometimes, and I love to do, because, you know, originally my thing was sound.
Right.
And so oftentimes what happens, people say, oh, I like this setup. And say, hey, I got a cousin that wants to sing, or da-da-da, whatever. And to see.
You connect dots.
Yeah. Now, of course, you have the weird ones. I had one where, you know, the brother and sister sang like reunited or whatever. And it was like, oh, this is awkward. But, you know, hey, y'all had your fun.
Right.
I've had a moment when there was like a big, beautiful birthday event for the guy, and he got drunk and pretty much cussed out half the people. Said, you know, I don't like this. Not my love language. I don't I'm uncomfortable.
Right.
And everyone left, and I was feeling bad. Everyone left except for about 13 people, and they rocked out like it was 1999.
Wow.
He was like, "This is all I wanted,"
Wow.
you know, and like
you stayed until the end.
Oh yeah. That's Dobb Entertainment. That's one. You hire us. We are there too. We've had multiple events where they shut down early. Whenever we're contracted, we play down to the very last end, unless you pretty much say, okay, DJ, shut it down. We're all leaving. We've had an event where the groom said, shoot, I paid my money. The wedding didn't go the way they wanted, and things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Family said you're doing too much. They didn't listen, and everyone left. He stayed there with the baby, said, yep. And everyone was packing down. I said, okay, I ain't going nowhere. And I DJ'd for him and the kid in the stroller. Lights and everything.
I love it.
Because professionalism
and
the experience.
Yep. He'll never forget it.
Yeah. And, I had one where the party went great and everyone went back up to their rooms, and the groom was drunk. He came down and he just danced like it was his life.
Wow.
Because he's enjoyed it so much, and it's the experience.
Yeah.
Because we're also servants.
Right.
We're here to serve. So
So I have one question for you as we wrap.
Yeah.
Because you and I can go on forever.
Oh yeah.
Again, I really appreciate you, but two questions. Mm-hmm. One question is, what would you say to someone starting out? If someone was just starting out in business, what would be one bit of advice that you would give them?
What's your why? Because when you have a strong enough why, the how is easy. Why do you want to do this? Is it the money? Is it the prestige? Is it a future spouse or whatever? What's your why? That's and then one, then A, the sub, is how can you trace that back as best as possible, not to sound cliche and religious, how can you trace that back to God's purpose in your life? How does that serve people? After that,
enough said. Mic drop. Don't drop my mic. I'm just playing. Okay, last question. Mm-hmm. I purpose to ask all of my guests here, like, what do you need? Like, what in the business community? I'm hoping that someone hears this and they say there's a connection there.
Yeah.
But when I did my story on podcast, one of the things that I shared was I did a movie at one point, and one of the things that I did not know when I did the movie is I knew nothing about marketing. And I felt like I did a great movie, at least I did in my mind, and but it didn't go anywhere. It didn't blow up, if you will, as I now I learned a lot. There was growth from it. I don't take it as a failure, but I didn't know marketing from a business standpoint, and I could have used help in that area. So I'm asking, I know you're a great DJ, a mixologist, but what could your business use, or what could you use, or could you answer that question vulnerably?
Yes, I mean, definitely I would say marketing. And when I say marketing, I mean with a purpose, not you trying to find a post-pandemic, get rich quick scheme and you wanted me to support your business.
Right.
I don't need you to take my email list and blast it. I can copy, paste, and send myself. I don't need you to...
You speak as if there's some history behind this.
Oh my gosh. I don't need you to create flyers based off a conversation and not even tag me. Don't promote me to be at places that I didn't confirm to be. Spell my name correctly.
All right.
Find out my hashtags, I mean, it's great. There's people who have heard us and they're like, oh, we love you guys and your presentation, you're so professional. That's great. Tell people.
Right.
that have money.
Right.
I mean, just be real about it.
Right.
You know,
right.
don't wait. That's why I can't do social media, because it's you know, when you see like, hey, anybody know a DJ? And I know 15 of you Negroes at least.
Right.
And you're listening to everyone else but me. And it's like, now I get into, okay, how good are they? You know, and I don't want to compete, because DJs could be very competitive with each other, you know. And I can't even say competitive. It's not even friendly competition. It's like DJs can tear each other down. And I'm big on supporting DJs.
Right.
Like, I don't even have to know you. Like, I'll encourage, support. I'm in many forums. I ask questions myself. I answer a lot of questions. I've offered to mentor, things like that. But I find that people enjoy your product,
Right.
but they just won't tell anyone. And it's like, I need you to understand that you know, I have a wife, I have children, you know, I have bills to pay, things like that. Like, you know, I'm licensed, we pay insurance, we we pay our equipment off, you know, like these are things we do. I just had to help someone else out even before coming out here. I had to sell a portion of my equipment to someone who they initially reached out to me, and then they said it's okay. Someone gave us a bunch of equipment. Later on, come to find out, it seems like the equipment was stolen or something.
Oh gosh.
That was confiscated right before they had multiple events.
Wow.
And so, because I couldn't find new equipment within their budget, I had to find used equipment, which I could have done, but we're all about excellence. I got to make sure it's tried, tested, and proven. So the only option was to sell some of my equipment.
Jeez.
So guess what? I have to purchase, because we have multiple setups. So we really take this seriously.
Right.
Like, whatever it is you need, you know, we, just like with you, because DJs are disrespected often. You know, they expect us to come and just pop up, laptop, speaker, whatever. We sit down with them like you would. You know, tell me about yourself. Who are you? Whatever. You know, because you're telling a story. We want to know, how'd you meet? What's going on over here, like that? Because it makes sense how we adjust our playlist.
Right.
The ambiance, you know, we want to give that Kim Kanye experience to the average Joe.
Wow. What a comparison.
So I don't know, take that and market that, whatever. But we go through all that stuff. So the least we ask, if you're going to market that, say, man, this is how they made me feel.
Right.
And that goes so much, especially from a personal point of view. You know, post that, because it's a way of supporting us. And if you don't like our product, don't support us.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to promote, you know, deep fried liver.
You
know,
right.
Because I'm not going to do it.
Right.
I don't care who you are.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to, I mean, I love you, my brother, but I'm not going to support your underwater hairdryer business. It's not happening. You know? But if I rock with your product,
Right.
I'm going to talk about it.
Unbelievable. You are,
You know?
your comedy is picking up here.
I'm just saying, hey, you know, Charlemagne, you need to get, if you want your life to get right, get on this podcast.
Right.
You know? You can make something of yourself. That's what I'm saying. Steve Harvey, shout at your boy. You get some ratings.
Oh gosh,
You know?
unbelievable. All right, DJ Doc on the block. Tell everybody how they can connect with you, or how they would
Call my wife. Okay.
how would they connect with you, get in touch with you? What are your hashtags and all that good stuff?
Okay. DJ Doc on the block. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. What else we have? I don't know. That's it. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm on YouTube as well. Hashtag DJ DOB. Hashtag Dob Entertainment. So you'll see my face, my picture, and I mean, there's millions of people out there, but you should. That's the best way to catch me.
Gotcha.
So I
Email, phone number.
Email docontheblock1 at gmail.com. So that's DOCONTHEBLOCK, @gmail.com, or dobsounds, DOBSOUNDS.com. Best way to check.
So you guys have heard it here first. The actual story behind Doc on the Block and his whole entourage of this has been a very eye-opening. I know you personally. I've been around you for years, but I did not know how deep the story went. And I'm grateful to have you have shared it with me and shared it with our audience. So if you please make sure you subscribe to the channel, like it, share it.
Yes, please.
And, make sure you listen to the podcast. I'm excited because I'm excited to have you back. I actually want to, there are other stories that you have to share.
Oh, yeah.
Plenty of stories. Actually, you start sharing some of the stories, but sharing some of the stories about actually what happens in your business. We talked about hearing how you got into the business, but hearing the stories in your business, because also these stories I believe were inspiring to other business owners. So man, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And anything you want to leave off with before we go?
If you happen to, I'm very open to suggestions. So if you happen to see something out there and say, hey, I don't see representation here. If I just don't do it, I don't do it. I'll gladly let you know. Or it's something I may say, hey, I didn't think about it. If you see a way that you can offer to enhance what we do, please feel free to reach out. If you are looking for any kind of mentorship, I'm really big on that. I believe in each one teach one. We came up in that era. I believe while someone's pouring into you, you should always pour into someone else. And just believe. It's a plug, but it's really. You have a brand. You are amazing. Start with that. I don't care if all you have is your knuckles beating on the lunchroom table. You are amazing. You are the best at what you do. You are the best you can be. Start there. If we're not talking about arrogance, just you have a vision, build a team. And me, I don't let people know that I'm on my team. I don't. If you drop something that really pulls me, I'm putting you on my team, because sometimes you might get in the way,
right,
and complicate it.
Right.
I need to get this flowing. So no man's an island. No one's bigger than their team. I got a great team. Even though you've gone on to do bigger and greater things, I'm still pulling on you. Here. I appreciate you answering the text. I have a guy who's an electrician. He has nothing to do with what I do, but the wisdom that comes from it, and I can pull from it. Mm-hmm. If my brand, for me, I'm family oriented. We know this lifestyle. Where it can go.
Right.
And I don't want to end up where a lot of other people fall off. So I build with my family in mind, which is why I rock with you so strong. So especially if you're a family person, I'll say this and I'll go. Whatever it is, make sure you do not take away from your household. Make sure it adds to your household. I can go on forever. I'll leave it there.
That's it.
Love, peace, and happiness.
Make sure it adds to your household, not takes away.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting us unpack your story so others can embrace it. And until next time, I'm out.